Okay, so, here's what's up. I've been wanting to make a No More Heroes 3 critique since basically the day it came out. I have a lot of stuff to say about this game, mostly bad. But then I realized two things. The first one is that if I wanted to write down an honest critique of the game, then I'd have to mention its positive aspects, too. I don't think No More Heroes 3 is a complete disaster. There is plenty of things that the game does very well, but talking about them would be too boring for me and would go against my original intention of being a grumpy, unlikable, know-it-all asshole who hates fun things and the people who enjoy them. The second thing is that it would take me very long to make, even if I was dishonest and listed exclusively the negatives. I don't like effort. I'm a prima donna. I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth. Hard work is simply not a part of my being. Still, because I love you, here's a short list of things that the game is bad at. I won't expand beyond just mentioning them, but if you played No More Heroes 3 by yourself already, you might be familiar with them. The hub still sucks and they should have gotten rid of it like in No More Heroes 2. Charlotte and Shinobu do literally nothing the entire game because Suda got bored of them. Japanese Mick Foley's entire role is dying like a bitch because Travis needed someone he's emotionally attached to die for the plot to move forward, and because Suda got bored of him. The minigames are a downgrade from No More Heroes 2. The OST is a downgrade from No More Heroes 2, still has some bangers though. Sylvia is a downgrade from No More Heroes 2. Henry becoming a Shadow the Hedgehog parody, though this one technically started from Travis Strikes Again. Potentially fun boss battles being replaced by more boring characters. Time travel, oh my god, I hate time travel so much. And, yeah, that's it. So here I am, downsizing my ambitions, but not my contrarian attitude, and focusing about what is objectively the most glaring flaw of this piece of consumable entertainment media. Fu. Fu's introduced as the main villain of the game, and is portrayed as such until almost the very end, when we find out that the real bad guy was a minor character from the previous game. I applaud Goichi Suda for the originality, by the way. The first time we see Fu, he's a tiny, cute alien who landed on Earth after his spaceship went kaput, and a young Damon helps him build another one so he can go home, just in time before some unidentified men who will never be mentioned again get to capture him. During this cutscene we see Fu give Damon some sort of power, of which the nature is explained very vaguely by the game itself. Even the wiki for Damon's character doesn't give a proper definition, it only says that it helped him build the rocket, it corrupted his mind, and it's the reason he looks the way he does in his true form. It also implies that it comes from a piece of the crashed ship and not from Fu, which makes literally no sense no matter how you try to present it. If we were to believe these dubious claims as facts and ignore the bogus notion that the corruption comes from the ship, then we'd also have to believe that Fu intentionally fried the brain of someone who, as far as we know, he genuinely cares for, even if in a very twisted way. Now, this may sound only very weird at worst, and I know you could explain it easily by just saying that this is just a bad guy doing bad guy stuff. And considering No More Heroes 3 has the narrative depth of a weather report, I can't blame you if that was the conclusion you reached, but this small cutscene creates so many unanswered questions that will pop up later on in the game. First of which, even if it's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, where did Damon find the money to build a whole ass spaceship? In Travis Strikes Again he's nothing but an intern, and there's no indication in the opening cutscene for No More Heroes 3 that his family is past the middle class when he was a child. I know he becomes a billionaire later in his life, but that would take him 2 decades. You can't even say he's using scraps from his old spaceship because the two look nothing alike. Again, I know this is not a big deal, but having such a weird plot hole so early does an excellent job at setting the tone for what's to come. Whatever, back to more important stuff. Fu comes back 20 years later and he wants to conquer Earth with his little human friend Damon. Before most boss battles in No More Heroes 3 we get to see a flashback cutscene where Fu has a conversation with the alien dude we're about to kill. They're very humanizing, they talk about memories, honesty, friendship, and life in general. They're by far the best content this game has to offer story-wise, and they're miles better than the endless, boring movie conversations between Travis and Bishop. In context, though, they make less and less sense the more you think about it. I tried to look for someone on the internet to spoon-feed me with the seemingly nonsensical dissonance in how Fu acts in these flashbacks and how he acts in the game itself, and I could find nothing. It just happens, we're supposed to roll with it, apparently. Not even the characters themselves seem to acknowledge it. It's as if the Galactic Superhero Force talks to two entirely different characters between flashbacks and game, and no one seems to wonder if anything weird is going on. Why was Fu acting so nice with Damon when they were children, only to become such a dick to him after his return? Some speculate that it's because of his royal lifestyle, that turned him into a stuck-up asshole who surrounds himself with yes men, but again, those flashbacks would be indicators of the exact opposite, with the only properly explained exception in the Galactic Superhero Force being Black Hole. Adding to that, going back to the opening cutscene, if that was your angle, then you'd have to explain why Fu intentionally corrupts Damon when he's a child if he's technically not turned into a prick yet. What's happening here? Am I supposed to just hate Fu and how irrational he is? Am I supposed to like him, to think he's somewhat of a victim? Better yet, am I supposed to find some weird parallel between him and Travis? Is Fu supposed to be the final piece in the redemption story of Travis? Because that's what many people seem to be convinced of. And I don't see it. I really don't. I could not even form a well-structured counterpoint because the people who rationalize Fu's inconsistent character that way express so little actual substance that I might just reply with to every single point with no, that didn't actually happen, take your meds, and there'd be no need to add anything to the conversation. Travis doesn't become a real hero, as many like to imply, because the journey he endured the last 3 games made him realize that his course of action in No More Heroes 3 is the right thing to do. In reality, he becomes the hero because he wants revenge, and if he doesn't do something, the world will fucking blow to pieces. One of his friends dies, another one is in a coma after Fu chops off her arms. He's angry and he wants to kill the guy responsible for it. It's that straightforward. This could very well be the first game in the series and nothing would change because all previous context is pointless if not to introduce the characters that get hurt by the villain. Fu, as a character, is worthless. He's an interchangeable baddie, everything he does in the game serves no higher purpose, and he ends up being the foil of another equally bidimensional villain whose final battle is a lame inside joke. Despite his apparently erratic and intriguing conflict of personalities, after I was done playing I could not care less about him, because he's ultimately a useless character. As a result, Travis's punishment for being a ruthless killer eludes him and he gained no deeper knowledge of himself. No new knowledge can be extracted from this game. No More Heroes 3 has meant nothing, and Fu's passivity is the quintessential reason why. He doesn't represent, say, the unnecessary burden of pursuing revenge at all costs. He doesn't represent a part of Travis's dark past coming back to haunt him. He's a bad guy with an agenda, and that would be fine in any other game, but not one like No More Heroes, in my opinion, where I'm used to see much more than something so simple. As soon as I beat the final boss, I went to YouTube and looked up some of my favorite scenes from No More Heroes 2. The emotions I felt when I saw Helter Skelter tear his own head off in front of Travis, so proud of himself, because he succeeded in bringing him back inside the cycle of violence he miraculously got out of the first time. Or Travis's realization after killing Alice Twilight that he turned into a monster and that his only way out was to destroy the UN and consequently free so many other people stuck in a world of violence, often against their will. Nothing like that is present in No More Heroes 3. Not even close. This game feels as if a Reddit user wrote it. Everyone who doesn't think No More Heroes 2 is the best one in the series has CTE.